Blog Talk Radio.
You're listening to Your Mental Health Talk Radio with your host, Jacqueline Forman. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the show, everybody, and happy Tuesday. I have a really interesting show for you tonight, and it is about a topic that many of you have written me about and said, you haven't done too many shows on ADHD, and I've gotten over 400 requests in the last month or so to do a show on ADHD, and I guess it's because of back to school, and we're still kind of in the midst of that with September. Of course, a lot of people went back to school after Labor Day. So my topic tonight and my guest is all about ADHD, and her name is Kerin Bellak Adams, and she is the author of a wonderful workbook that I have actually used myself for my own children, and it's called ADHD Success, Solutions for Boosting Self-Esteem, the Diary Method, and it's for children ages 7 to 17. So we're going to tell you how it's broken up. We're going to talk about ADHD. We're going to talk about this wonderful workbook and so many other things. But before we do that, I really want to give you an intro to Kerin Bellak Adams and tell you who she is and why she is the person, my go-to person on ADHD. Other than the fact that she lives in New Jersey, which is just a happy coincidence for me, that we're both from New Jersey, but Kerin Bellak Adams is accredited through ICF, which is the International Coach Federation, with an ACC certification, which is, I think is it an assistant coach certification?
Associate.
Oh, associate. Okay, thank you, Kerin. See, she's already helping me, and the show has barely started, and she has years of experience as a highly respected coach, speaker, and expert on ADHD. She has taught elementary children with ADD and comes from an unusual background, beginning being the daughter of a world-renowned psychiatrist, Dr. Leopold Bellak, a pioneer in ADD back in the 1960s. And that's when nobody really talked about ADD, everyone. Along with her practice, she has now just released a workbook that we're going to be talking about tonight called ADHD Success, Solutions to Boosting Self-Esteem, the Diary Method, ages 7 to 17. From her teaching experience and having a grown daughter with ADD, she not only developed this book, but specializes in coaching parents on such issues as how to find your child's or teenager's gifts, how to ask questions that help with focus and get the actions that you want from your children, and much, much more. She also coaches kids age 10 and older with ADD symptoms and helps them define small steps that will help them feel more in control of themselves and be happier. Kerin will be giving a free teleconference this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information on that teleconference, just email her at reachbeyondadd@aol.com, and she will email you back the details. She'll give you the phone number, the access code. The topics are how to maximize the use of the diary pages to benefit your child and ADD from a child's perspective. Kerin also wants you to know that anyone who refers a client to her and receives anywhere from 2 months plus of coaching, whether it's on the phone or in person, will receive a free ADHD workbook, and that offer is good until December 31st, 2009. So with all of that being said, Kerin Bellak Adams, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us tonight to talk about ADHD and your book, ADHD Success, Solutions for Boosting Self-Esteem.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and I'm looking forward to spending the hour with all the people that are on this program and see if I can help people and answer questions that they have and explain things to them that they may not have clarity on and so on.
Absolutely. Well, as I said, we haven't done a lot of focus. Our focus hasn't been a lot on ADHD. Mm-hmm. And I guess with everybody going back to school, this is a big thing because that's when it really comes out. That during the summertime, everybody's kind of free and, is doing their own thing. And then school comes back in, and it's a very structured time. And, of course, ages 7 through 17, that's going to be a key focus. So one of my first questions to you is, this is set up very well, and it's a workbook. and you call it the diary method. Why did you decide to do this as a diary method and as a workbook as opposed to writing just a straight book about ADHD, which
Well,
I love the concept.
Thank you. That's a very good question. There is no other book at present that allows children to focus on the things that are most important for them to focus on. And the way that I put it down in terms of the diary pages is for them to focus on each aspect of their daily life that needs special attention, such as brushing their teeth or making sure they make the bus on time, eating their breakfast in full, washing their hands before they come out of the bathroom, saying thank you, and all kinds of social skills and school skills are broached in these diary pages. These diary pages, which there are samples on the website of reachbeyondadd.com, can be seen in terms of two different ones, one for one age and one for the other, and they're actually broken down into the different ages from 7 to 17, as you had eloquently put.
Mm-hmm.
And these diary pages are really for kids to focus on one page at a time so they can really start to feel better about themselves when they've already done things that they may not even realize that they did right because they're so used to not feeling good about themselves because they have so many struggles due to ADD, issues. So if they can start recognizing that they ate their breakfast or they washed their hands before they came out of the bathroom or they brushed their teeth before their mother reminded them or asked them or made it on time for the bus, then they can start to say, wow, there are some things that I can do by myself and for myself that aren't difficult. And this starts to feed on the little seed of self-esteem that everyone is born with that needs to really grow throughout their younger years and through their teen years.
Well, when I decided to do a show on ADHD, the reason that I really focused on your workbook, I got 100 books. I honest to goodness, if I got one, I got 100 on ADHD. First of all, yours was the only interactive workbook that I received. Every other book was a book. It wasn't a workbook that you could actually really make copies of or write in the book or, they were just kind of like textbook type of books just telling you about ADHD.
Right.
Which, a lot of us have read, but again, not very interactive, sometimes not always very helpful. But what are the main benefits of the diary method versus maybe just reading a textbook or a book about ADHD?
Well, children really don't have an opportunity to, in a very practical approach and a method that is very simple to them, to really see what it is they need to work on in a gentle way, whether it's not whining or stalling when it comes to bedtime or any type of situation where they can catch themselves not teasing someone or they found out that they raised their hand in class before they screamed it out. They really have no way of really seeing things in black and white in terms of what they need to pay attention to because, as you know, anybody that has ADD tends to be not very focused. And that's because there's some chemistry in the brain, different parts of the brain, the front part of the brain, which is called the prefrontal cortex, and the temporal lobes, which there's one on each side of the brain, on each side of the head, that just don't have the types of chemicals that run from one neuron to the other in these parts of the brain smoothly. So it's a little bit like having lightning. When lightning strikes in everyday life, it'll affect the lights, and you'll get a glimmer here and a glimmer there, but the electricity is not running fluidly. And that's the same issue with the certain chemicals that we're all born with that are just not working smoothly from one part of the brain to the other. So there's going to be scatteredness, there's going to be confusion, there's going to be issues in short-term memory and impulsivity and mood disruptions, unfortunately. Some have it more than others. And if they can see in black and white what they need to really pay attention to and stay focused on in simple ways that are not going to overwhelm them and scare them, but will encourage them to already recognize what they do right while, subtly seeing about what they need to work on over and over again, this helps them to feel better about themselves and less confused. So that's why I've had these put in